making a living at being fake news. It's the Nice Guys on Business.
I'm on a Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 hiatus right now.
I think that is an excellent idea.
Because I'm scared.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. And greed, you mark my words, will not only save Teldar Paper, but also the Nice Guys Fuckery podcast. Most days, they take their meds. This is not one of those days. Welcome to Fuckery with the Nice Guys. No interviews, no business content, just your two favorite slack-jawed mouth breathers ranting about whatever. Now, strap yourselves in for Nice Guys Fuckery with the kings of fuckery, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
I have just done it. I've hit record and you're wearing a collar. What is going on?
Oh, well, I have a birthday party to go to, which is why we're recording an hour earlier. I have to leave by the top of the hour. In fact, I have not checked with my better half to confirm that 30 minutes is enough time to get there. So it may have to be before the top of the hour, but we'll find out.
Wait, when you say the top of the hour, it's 20 of the top of the hour right now. So does that mean we only have 20 minutes or does that mean we have an hour?
Bottom of the hour, my mistake.
Okay, well, that's your learning challenge is kicking in there, my friend.
Exactly.
Or you're in orbit.
Something like that. Who the hell knows?
So you're the kind of guy that changes and gets ready ahead of time. Like you don't, when your partner is like out of the house waiting in the car, you're not putting your clothes on then?
Yeah, it totally depends on what my schedule is going to be. I knew you and I were going to be recording right up until the time that we left and that I would not have time to do that. So that's my formal relationship with time.
Oh, right.
Planning ahead for these things instead of just presuming that I'll get dressed as soon as we're done recording when I knew ahead of time that I would not have time for that.
Wow. That's a lot of foresight for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And, I was wrapping up a meeting before we started.
Yeah.
And so I was here, I think about a minute and a half late. And as I'm clicking on the link, I get a text from Doug. Time to make the donuts. It's like, you are 90 seconds late. It's time to make the donuts.
Well, I don't think I was being rude. I think I was gently reminding you because we did change the time. And for whatever reason, if you still were in old time that we made it as opposed to new time, which of course we did just change a couple of hours ago. So I figured you probably would have remembered that. But
thank you for realizing that. But hey, treats me right for being 90 seconds late. I get it.
Hey, I did make a mistake yesterday. I don't know how that happened. So you sent me two text messages. One was, I can't remember the first one. It was answering a question that I asked you or something that you asked me. I was responding to that. And while I was responding, you must have sent a second message saying, hey, can you cover the team meeting tonight? I swear I never saw that.
I believe you.
At the meeting last night, I'm like, I wonder where Strickland is. Very unusual for you to not call or notify and not show up. One or the other is usually appropriate. But for you not to call and not to show, that's as bad as a band leader not showing up for a gig and just ghosting the entire party.
Yeah.
Like wonder what happened. And then I sent you the message about an hour after or a half hour afterwards. And you said, you pointed up, you're like, look at the text.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. Like that one's on me. Totally on me.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, welcome back. My name's Strickland Bond. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. Let's get out of the way right now.
So because of the design of this meeting, we only have 50 minutes. We can't even go an hour this week.
Nope.
Wow.
No, well, only because we chatted for 10 minutes before we hit record. I didn't realize we were chatting. But
sorry.
I think our listeners, yes, we have spoiled them with the hour-long episodes, but you know what we're going to do instead? We're going to cram all of the same goodness and all of the same information into less than an hour today. So more entertainment, or we'll talk longer and speed it up or something.
It's kind of like, I don't know, when you were growing up, did you have Donald Duck orange juice?
I remember it. I don't know that I ever actually had it.
Well, because you probably had a above average home. My mom was the queen of opening a can or using something that was concentrated. So
Mm.
this Donald Duck orange juice used to come in like a 3 ounce or 4 ounce little mini, almost like the Pillsbury
Oh
thing,
yeah, yeah, the
you know,
can, right?
a
And you
can.
mix it with water
You
and
with water.
yeah, yeah.
Like my mom couldn't buy a whole carton of orange juice.
It's too expensive,
Like,
you know.
what really was that really the difference? It probably was. Knowing my mom, it probably was, which is probably why I only like to buy fresh squeezed orange juice when I go to the store now.
Probably, yeah. We definitely had the orange juice concentrate in my house as well. There were no big gallon jugs of OJ. It was like
My,
pitchers that were made from concentrate. Yeah.
my mom also, to this day, my kids love it, and it's just like chemicals. You're just eating chemicals. My kids love Crystal Light. Do you know what
Oh
Crystal Light
God, it's
is?
so bad. Yeah, the
It's
lemonade.
yeah,
I use the
every
term very loosely. Lemonade. Yeah,
yeah, it's lemonade food product is what it
right.
is. It's not. It's like American cheese food as opposed to American craft American cheese. They
Oh
got
God.
caught with their pants down. It's American cheese food, processed cheese spread right now.
Kind of like Fox News, air quotes news.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the whole reason I right exactly. So the reason I brought that up is because we're going to give you the Donald Duck condensed version of the Nice Guys.
Right, exactly. No need to, don't add water. No
No,
need to add water because then it'll be longer than an hour and you don't want that.
growing up at my dad's house, my parents were divorced, as you know. Maybe Nice Guy community, you may not know that. So my parents were divorced very early on. I was 2 years old, and we spent the Saturdays in my childhood going to my dad's house and his new wife.
See, that's
So,
so interesting. I never knew that. As long as we've known each other, I know you've always had a strained relationship with your father, but I kind of assumed that it was sort of a no relationship, but you actually
oh
went.
no, he worked at it half-assed. You know
Mm,
me, I'm full ass or not at all. But my dad was, we'll pick you up on Saturday, we'll get you around 10, we'll go to the toy store, we'll bribe you nicely, get you a toy,
mm,
get you guys a toy. My brother would go and play basketball. I would go and watch TV with the other kids. And every once in a while, we would be graced by the presence of whatever, I don't even know what that woman was called. I would never call her my stepmother. That woman that was married to my dad. The reason my parents broke up.
oh,
Sorry.
mm,
Anywho, so we would go there. We would play games, do stuff for a few hours, and then we would be promptly dropped off. And that was the extent of my fatherhood, or my childhood
mhm.
lessons from my father, with the exception of whenever I had business need, like I had to ask him a question, or had to understand like what was supposed to happen, or what decision would I make. My dad, he would come to the dad rescue. I mean, he would spend as much time as I needed. If it was like, hey, let's just get a hotel room, we'll stay overnight, we'll work on this plan, and we will dig in and we'll get it to. Never, I think I had one sleepover at his house as a child,
Hmm.
but as an adult that wanted to know information about business, all the time in the world.
Interesting. And
So,
you said, and when he passed away, he left you nothing.
well, what's your definition of nothing? Yes, nothing.
And he had a lot to give away, from what I understand. He was a
Well, when
rather
he
well
when
off
he
man.
passed in 1995, there was 200 franchises of Sandler sales. So I would say nothing. I'm gonna stick with my story of nothing.
Mm,
I remember, and I think I've shared this before, but not in years on the show. The hospice nurse, who didn't know me from Jack, other than I was one of the five kids that would come in and say hi to my dad when he was on his way out. Me and my brother being the only two biological ones, so we think.
as far
Anyway,
as you know.
right. So the hospice nurse hid some of his clothing when he passed away, and he gave it to me and my brother. So I do have one, like pink or salmon. I don't know what color. I don't remember what color it is. Polo shirt that my dad had. That's it. That's it. I wanted
that's what. So he did actually leave you nothing whatsoever in his will. You just got some sort of contraband clothing from the hospice nurse.
That is correct.
Wow.
There, I don't even know that we were in. I don't think there was a will that mentioned our name.
So what? Look, not to like dig up a dirty,
It's all
ugly
right.
subject, but now I'm
Dig in there.
super curious
Yes.
because if he had 3 other kids that were not biological, like, did he just leave everything to his wife, or did any kids get anything? Or
Well, remember that one of the kids, yet not to be mentioned here because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus specifically, but one of the kids actually got he was the president of or CEO or something of Sandler. So I would assume that something happened there, but I would also assume that any money that was left as a result of Sandler sales went to her, the other woman, who then in turn left it when she died, left it to her kids. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and we even have a relationship with one of the kids who I think you remember went through one of our podcasting classes and stuff.
Really?
But the other two,
that.
you may, I'll remind you later.
Whatever. It's all right. Whatever.
Anyway, but it wasn't like that in your house though, was it? Because your parents, how old were you when your parents got divorced?
7.
Okay. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I would spend weekends with my brother, and I would spend weekends with my dad that would come and get us. And he lived about 2 hours away in Pennsylvania for a while. And so, but yeah, it was weekends, and then it was every other weekend, and it was less and less. And then he moved to Michigan, and I was in Maryland. And then it was once a year, twice a year we see him. And, it was what it was.
So as an adult, and I know that you just got back from Florida. You visited your dad and his wife, and you have a good relationship with her because she wasn't the reason why your parents split up. Correct? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you have a relationship with the two of them, and all is good there. I mean, it seems like you've rekindled that relationship.
Yeah, that's all good. Hey, hold on. Wait, so what time do we need to leave?
Now.
Oh, 5:15. Okay, so I have till quarter after the hour, then not the bottom half of the hour. So let's say we've got like 25 minutes left. I forget it's rush hour and we're going into Austin. So, yeah.
So who exactly needs to be on time for a birthday party? That would be my question. I don't you arrive fashionably late, or do you like to be there right on time so you can get out of it early?
I am totally fine arriving fashionably late, but it's a dinner also. It's it is Sally's brother and sister-in-law are making dinner.
God. Oh yeah. Well, you totally need to be on time for that. So we got to wrap up. Gotta be. You cannot screw that relationship up, Strickland. Please don't do that.
Well, you're like 23 minutes, so it's all good. I mean, we do have four voicemails, but
So as the child of divorced parents, would you give the breakup as a learning experience, a positive learning experience, 0 on a scale of 1 to 10, or being horrible, or 10 being, hey, it was the best that we could have possibly had given the circumstances?
It's so hard to say because what's the alternative, right? Like if they had stayed together, who knows what the rest of my world would have been like.
All right, but I'm not asking as the child of someone that as parents that could have stayed together. I'm asking as the adult child now of parents that did get divorced. Like I could say unequivocally, without any shadow of a doubt, that on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best experience that your parents could have created for you as the child of a divorced couple, or 0 being the worst, I could honestly say that I would give it somewhere between a 0 and a 1 in my world.
Got it. Now, but when you would see your dad Saturdays, was it like every Saturday all the time?
No, it was not every Saturday all the time. It was Saturday when he could, and I felt rushed through the process, which has created remarkable wounds for me.
And it wasn't like you actually did anything. You'd get sat down in front of the TV and your brother played basketball. And
I don't recall, with the exception of a couple times going on his boat. And I always felt like I was like the fifth wheel. I always felt like, hey, there's the there's the 3 kids that belong to the woman that he's married to, and here come my brother and I always tried to get along. I always had, he used to do these attitude contests where whoever had the best attitude got a little prize. And, for a 3 or 4-year-old, you're trying to always have the best attitude for your parents because you love your dad and you don't ever want to be, separated from your dad. Well, so because the divorce wasn't my fault, I felt like, well, wait a minute. Why are we getting gypped out of this whole fucking relationship? Why are we the ones that, and you know what? I got to give my dad props for this. He was consistent. He was consistently not providing for us and always arguing with my mom about the fucking $50 per kid child support that he had to pay a week.
There's a demotivator poster.
Sorry, everybody. This is a downer.
Yeah, really. There's a demotivator poster that's like a bullseye, right?
Yeah.
And it's got an arrow, right? But the arrow is like right on the very outer ring. And then there's another, like 2 more arrows, like right next to it. It's like this perfect grouping of 3 arrows really close together, but they're all the way out on the edge.
Yeah,
and then it says that the caption is consistency. It's only an asset if you're not a screw up.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, holy shit, could you consistently show up a little bit more? And I think the whole story. I've shared this with you ad nauseum. He didn't come to either me or my brother's wedding. He didn't come to either.
He didn't even come to the wedding.
No, neither wedding. None of all of my weddings. No, he was only available for one of them. He didn't come to my brother's wedding or my wedding when he was living. He didn't come to our bar mitzvahs. A fucking bar mitzvah. Your kid is 13 years old. It's like, what more innocence can a child provide other than that? And his excuse was always, well, I don't want to take the attention off of the event. And I kept thinking to myself, had you just shown up as a parent, acknowledged that you were a father at some point during the relationship, then maybe you wouldn't feel like you're on the outskirts and being the outcast of this entire thing. People would just assume, hey, this is just the divorced father of the kid that's there, rather than this is the man that cheated on his wife with this other woman and left you as a result of that. Had you just shown up a couple times, maybe I could give you some props here. But again, consistently not arriving at anything that we did. It's amazing that I am not a larger fuck up than I really am.
Okay, this hold on.
Okay,
yes.
I'm holding.
Are you sure? Really? I don't want to mess everything up.
Oh, that's too late. You're going to mess everything up.
Okay, I've been told we now once again have until the bottom of the hour.
Okay.
Yeah, we have until the bottom of the hour.
You have just received an update directly from the source.
5:30, bottom of the hour. Yeah, 5:30.
I got it.
Doug and I were talking about this earlier. The top of the hour is
the 12.
0. Like, it's
an age
the
thing,
problem,
Strick.
Doug?
It's an age thing.
Right. You and I are fucking old. That's the problem.
Right.
The top of the hour is when the minute hand is at the top.
Right.
The bottom is when the minute hand is exactly at the bottom. But since nobody uses analog clocks anymore, there ain't no fucking top and bottom anymore.
What about when somebody says, that's funny you mentioned that, because I've had this conversation a couple of times. When somebody says 20 of the hour or a quarter after, or like 30 past.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gets that if they're less than 100. Yeah, I don't think Sally gets it because she's never looked at an old school clock. I'm not taking anything away, but that's her generation is that way. I was having a conversation with JJ a little bit earlier today, I think it was, and then previous to that, I said it's a total odd couple moment, and she's like, well, what? Right. I said, come on, Felix and Oscar. She goes, Oscar the Grouch. And I said,
no.
I said, no, Oscar Madison. Oscar Madison. Felix Unger and Oscar Madison. No, nothing. I got nothing from that. Nothing.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, we're fucking old. Okay.
Well,
at least it wasn't a Johnny Carson reference.
It's almost as bad as saying jump in the shark, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Although, you know what's interesting? Jumping the shark
Came back.
has,
It came back.
no, it is totally,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those phrases that has like lasted the test of time because it's so appropriate, even though the original reference is to Happy Days, right? I really think it's been used so often that people do know what that is, what it means. Call in 4242 DJ Doug. Let us know if you know what, first of all, if you know the meaning of jump the shark, not literally where it came from, but like if I were to say, Doug, you know what? We have fucking jumped the shark today. Like, would you know what I mean? And then the second layer of it would be, okay, where did it come from? And I bet a good number of people know what it means, even if they don't know exactly where it came from. Like, for example, mind your P's and Q's, right? Like, you know what that means. It's like keep to yourself, right? But you don't know where it came from. It came from Old English, mind your pints and quarts.
Whoa.
In other words, don't worry about what's going on. Fucking pay attention to your own beer and your own drinks. Just fucking keep it to yourself.
I did not know that.
Give them the whole 9 yards. There's a couple that are great like that.
I got that. That's the concrete truck reference. I know that.
That's the what?
Concrete truck reference. Give them the whole 9 yards. Now, do you know what that is?
Now, you see, that's different from what my understanding.
Okay, let me tell you what my understanding is. A concrete truck will hold 8+ yards of concrete. So if you're giving someone the whole 9 yards, you are actually giving them more than the entire truck worth. But could you ask ChatGPT?
I am very curious. Do you know where you heard that?
Well, I was in the construction business, so I probably heard it on the jobs. Probably heard it on the job site.
Got it. Okay.
So Strickland is diligently typing in whether it's ChatGPT or Google, which is almost the same thing now. When are they going to make that transition? Like when I know that you can get the AI answer to, hey, what is the whole 9 yards mean? If you typed it in Google, it will tell you now at the top. But when are they going to merge the things together so you get all of that and then you get the links at the bottom and you don't have to worry about going into ChatGPT and all that bullshit. Anyway, what's the whole 9 yards mean?
Well, very interesting because it's not what I had heard either. At least, but now okay, let's back up. First thing is I check it and it says likely originated from a comedic short story, The Judge's Big Shirt, published originally in 1855.
Wow.
But gained popularity in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
But what I heard
that doesn't give you what it means though.
No. It was the punchline of an Indiana comedic short story. But I don't want to get deep into that because what I heard was in World War I, when they would have biplanes and they would have you've got a whole row of bullets. What is it? Like when you're feeding.
Right.
So what I heard was that, what the hell do they call that when you're feeding into a machine gun? You're feeding the bullets in. It's like
I don't know.
Whatever. I heard that's 9 yards long. So basically, if you give somebody the whole 9 yards, you have just completely unloaded the entire clip in one run. Wow. So that's what I heard. But now there's an article here from BBC News that says the whole 9 yards, 9 reader theories for the phrase's origin. So apparently there are many other theories of where it could have come from. I'm going to have to copy that link and put it in the show notes.
Right.
Here we go. Well, number one, the whole ammunition belt. Yeah. At the time, the ammunition belts loaded into the wings of fighter aircraft were 9 yards in length. Oftentimes, a returning pilot would convey to his fellow pilots and ground crew the intensity of the battle by merely saying, I gave him the whole 9 yards.
And it says another possible origin is one theory that suggests the phrase originated in the construction industry where concrete trucks were said to hold 9 cubic yards of material. Therefore, when someone ordered the whole 9 yards, they were asking for a full load of concrete.
Interesting.
And there's another one that talks about the sails being fully set. Huh. 3 masts, each one of them holding 3 yards supporting the sails. So the whole 9 yards meant the sails were fully set. Holy shit. That is
that
really
makes sense,
interesting.
actually.
That
right?
is really interesting.
Yeah, the cross piece from which the sail hangs, a 3-mast ship with 3 sails, could go up quite speed if they were all unfurled. The whole 9 yards, 3
Give
yards
them the
of
whole
each.
9 yards.
Fucking fascinating.
God
If
damn.
you just thought this was going to be therapy with Doug and Strickland, now you've learned some shit. Well, that's if you made it this long. You may have just shut it off before you got here.
We actually today we are giving you the whole 9 yards. we're giving you everything that we have. We're giving you the lessons learned from being the child of divorced parents. Both Strick and I suffer from that. And well, how would you? Because my dad passed away almost 30 years ago now. So how would you define your relationship with your dad today as compared to when you were a kid?
And I tried so hard to move away from this whole family therapy thing. And now you just want to circle back to it.
No, that's okay. That's all right. We don't have to do that.
Good. I just don't want to go.
Okay. We do have 4 voicemails. Are you still looking up 9 yards?
No, that's enough of the whole 9 yards thing.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Let's do this. We'll do that. We'll share screen number 2.
While Strickland is doing that, everybody in Nice Guy Community, just so you know, right now, the Netflix series that I am watching is called Body of Evidence. It takes place in Philadelphia. I think it's called Body of Evidence. It's either Body of Evidence or Body of Proof Evidence series. Hold on a second. No, it's not Body of Evidence. It's a Body of Proof.
I am looking for a new series.
Body of Proof. Now, the problem with it is this. I'm going to start with the problem, then I'll back into the positive. It's 3 seasons, and that is good. It was in 2011, so it's well in advance of COVID.
Oh, this one, Dana Delaney? Where she's a coroner or something?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I love her. Dana Delaney's great.
She's a medical examiner, and here's the problem to the show. If you don't like a show that follows the same formula week in and week out,
procedural, yes.
Is that what that's called?
A procedural, yeah.
Okay. So with that show, what's going on is every week it's the same. Somebody gets killed. They have their suspects. They narrow down the suspects to a couple, and then they pick the one. And they try to weave gingerly, I might say. They try to to weave some character development in there as well, relationships and other things. It's almost like the relationship and character development are bookends within the. It starts off with a little like scene of who gets killed that episode, and then they weave in the problem that the main characters are having. Then they get back to the investigation, and then they finalize it with how the characters have developed and built themselves through the relationship that they've had with this corpse through the time. And it is good, but I can see that after a season or 2 you could just say, holy shit, are they going to do this again? I mean, but by the time you're 2 seasons in, you're stuck. You're stuck.
Right.
You want to know what's going on with the characters. Anyhow, okay, we got 4 voicemails, it looks like. Let's do it, because we only have till the bottom of the hour.
Well, we have 23 minutes now.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
We got a voicemail from Jared. I said a voicemail from Jared. You know a voicemail from Jared. Nobody else will call. We got a voicemail from Jared. Screw the rest of y'all.
I'm on a Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 hiatus right now.
I think that is an excellent idea.
Because I'm scared.
For those of you who are wondering, today is April 3rd, so it is the day after fucking tariff day, whatever. Like, yeah, and shit is hitting the fan already.
So help me for just a quick second before we get to the voicemails here. I know you played the theme song, but since this is the train of thought and we are running down the tracks right now.
Well, and since you can't do it without interrupting anyway, I was expecting it.
True.
Okay.
So my understanding was the purpose of a tariff is to encourage us, instead of going overseas, is to get somebody's pricing that is less expensive than us and shipping shit into the US, get their price a little bit more closely resembling the US price so that we could be more competitive. Is that basically the idea of why a tariff exists to begin with?
Yep, that's the general idea. Yeah.
Okay. And the positive thing with a tariff is if it accomplishes the goal that we think that it would want to accomplish as an administration, not my administration, but as an administration, it will also help create some additional tax revenue within the government so that we could lower the taxes on everybody that's here, corporate and individual. Is that another thing here?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. But my understanding is the reality, at least in talking to all the economists that I know and listening to,
of which there are many, I'm sure,
and listening to a lot of the different podcasts that are out there, it seems like almost everything that we touch, even in our manufacturing today, because of the pricing, advantageous pricing that we get from bringing things in overseas, even let's call them automakers, even the automakers here in the US that have cars that are made in America, many of their expensive components come from overseas anyway, and those are going to be taxed from 20 to 55%.
I think you have a very clear understanding of what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, so then my question is, it's a pretty simple question. What the fuck? That would be my question. How is this going to help? Now, I'm looking at this in early on, so I'm forecasting rather than hindsight, which is always 2020. What is the hope here? What was supposed to happen that none of the people that are in the know and the economists, now maybe these are people that are on the take or are people that are scammers or are part of a governmental department that should be cut. I have no idea, but why doesn't anybody see the advantage of this except for the people that are so close to it, they can't explain it to us so that it makes sense? Because I haven't heard an explanation yet that makes sense to me.
Well, you're presuming that multiple people need to see clarity for a decision to be made. And that's just not the case with this administration. As long as Trump believes it, it happens. That's the problem. So I'm going to give a very brief kudos to Trump's strategy, because you may have listened to this episode of The Daily that talked about fentanyl. I don't know if you heard about that.
Did
you read that?
Yes, yes, but I cannot recall it as we speak.
Well, basically, the first thing that happened when he jumps into office, he tells Canada and Mexico, hey, the reason that I'm allowed to slap these tariffs on without even going to Congress is because this is an emergency. And that emergency is fentanyl coming into the country and illegal aliens coming into the country. And so he tells Canada and Mexico, hey, you've got to step up and you got to make sure that this shit stops coming into our country. Well, apparently the Washington Post was at the time doing some investigative reporting and had gotten into fentanyl producers in Mexico. And they said that the Mexican government, and this was, 2 months ago now, right?
Right.
The Mexican government fucking cracked down in a huge way. And these fentanyl producers who were doing it without even thinking twice about it.
Doing what?
Making fentanyl. You basically go into a kitchen and you can make the shit. Right?
Okay. Understood.
And they are basically hiding out, trying to figure out where they're going to get their income because the cops and the military have really cracked down. And it's so the point of that was Trump basically threatened that I'm going to do these tariffs, but I'm going to wait until, the reason I'm doing it is because of this fentanyl problem. So if you fix the fentanyl problem, I won't put in the tariffs. So apparently Mexico did something. Mexico fucking cracked down and it helped, but then he's throwing the tariffs on anyway. and by the way, that's not the strategy with all these other countries now. I mean, really, that was just his excuse. So with all these other countries, and by the way, what Jared pointed out or I think Tim actually pointed out in one of our chats, of all the countries that are getting tariffs, not Russia. Gee, I wonder why that might be. Anyway, So all of these countries getting tariffs, as you said, it can bring in more revenue. And Trump has estimated that it'll bring in $600 billion in new revenue.
Mhm.
And there's some nonpartisan, like Congressional Business Office or some shit, I don't know where. And they basically said, look, absolute positive best case scenario, even before we think about people buying less and importing less because of the tariffs,
Right.
it might possibly bring in 300 billion, but it's all going to be offset because Americans are going to pay so much more for goods that ultimately they're going to lose money. They're not going to save money. This is basically a tax hike because the American people are going to pay for it one way or another.
I mean,
and the funny thing with Canada too is when Trump did it with liquor and he didn't back off on it.
yeah.
He or with a bunch of stuff with Canada basically said, fuck you. We're just not going to buy your American liquor. And on top of that, we're going to tariff the stuff we send to you. And Trump's answer was, you can't do that. You're a bunch of babies. What are you doing? I'm going to tariff you more. And Canada's like, you're saying that what you just did to us is okay. But when we do it to you, we're a bunch of babies. And your solution is to double the tariffs. So what the fuck do you think we're going to do? We're going to do the same fucking thing. How stupid are you? Is basically what Canada said.
I heard some yelling going on back there.
Yeah. That's Sally likes it when incredulous strict comes out. So
Okay, I got it. Okay, so at some point it's supposed to help, but in the meantime, it's fucking with everybody's, like, Dow Jones, S&P. I'm not even looking right now because I'm in it for the long run. I got enough cash to last me a little while before I have to hit that money that's in the market right now. But it's like, I'm not even calling my broker, because if I call my broker and I say, we have a problem, he's going to say, look, I just lost 30% of my income because, they're all paid on commission, and the commission is what money you have in the market with them. So they're all getting their shirts eaten also. So it's like, oh, fuck.
Well, and that's it, because it's almost every economist is like, this is a horrible fucking idea. But you said it. It's like, can you find me the people that think it's a good idea? Well, it's Trump and anybody that doesn't want to go up against him, because Trump basically says, I'm going to hire you as an economist. Okay. Now tell me, are tariffs good or bad? Tariffs are bad. You're fired. Okay. Who's next? I'm going to hire you as my economist. Are tariffs good or bad? I think they're bad, sir. You're fired. Who's next? I mean, that's basically his strategy. If you don't agree with me, you're fucking gone.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Hitler.
You can either surround yourself with smart people who will give you good advice, or you can surround yourself with people who agree with you, and then you're always right. And that's what Trump has chosen.
I did watch this 6-episode series on Adolf Hitler's rise. I did. And it's on Netflix, and it's a really interesting, very graphic. So be careful if you have small children in your house not to watch it with the kids around, because they do show a whole bunch of shit that's going down or that went down. But that's exactly what he did. He surrounded himself with yes men, just people that would agree with him, because those that didn't agree were, well, in Hitler's case, those that didn't agree were killed.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's everything that Trump is doing. It's straight out of the Nazi playbook. And like, the people that are behind him don't want to see it. They don't want to believe it. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's Battle of the Orange rather than Battle of the Bulge. All right, let's go with voicemail.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, Doug, H-Track Jared here. No one.
No one?
Absolutely no one, Strickland Bonner, is the answer to your question that you're starting to ask, that I didn't even wait to hear everything you say about it. No one. And that question started out with, if we were to do an AI summary of the show and it drops it from an hour to 10 minutes, who would want to listen? And I hit stop. No one. I just wanted to share with you, no one. And I think that's right where you were headed with this, Strickland, but I agree with you. No one. I want to hear you guys, not some summary of what the fuck you talk about. I just want to hear you guys. You know, we love you guys, not your AI summaries. So, yeah, I think that's where you're headed. So I'm just going to say, yeah, you're right, Strickland. No one. Anyway, guys, that's the show. Strick, glad to have you back. And can't wait to hear the rest of the episode. See you, fellas.
You know, when I first brought that question up, who might want to hear this? I didn't realize I was throwing out my fishing line.
Yeah.
And I was fishing for that compliment because that's exactly what we were looking for. Yeah.
See, Jared just gave me the kind of vibes that I know Jared is younger than I am, but he's the kind of guy that I want as my dad. Jared, would you adopt me? Is that possible? Can you adopt someone that's older than you as your father? I mean, as your son? Like, could Jared adopt me and he be my father and I would be his son? That could happen, right?
Sure, why not?
You know, it could. I think if I was mentally incapable of making my own decisions, which I'm pretty close to right now. So who knows? Thanks, Jared, for the voicemail. All right, let's get on to number 2.
Ready for the next one. Here we go.
Hey, Doug, hey, Strick, Jared here. Voicemail number 2. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, Doug. That is the answer to your questions.
A theme.
Like less than a minute after Strickland's question. And that is, what have you provided for us? What valuable information have you provided? Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. We just enjoy you listening to you guys shit talk. But you guys drop stuff here and there that's actually valuable. So don't sell yourself short. But I couldn't resist telling you nothing because, you know,
thank you.
Who would I be if I'm not calling and harassing you? I mean, who even is Jared if he's not harassing you? So
that's true.
You guys are my identity. That's why I love you so much. You guys give me purpose. Every week I have a purpose, and that's to listen to you guys call and harass the shit out of you. So anyways, you know, like I said, you guys do give us value. And even if you don't say anything that we can run with and do something with, your time that you spend talking together and then taking the time to share that is valuable, at least to me. So there you go. You got one person. If somebody else calls, then maybe you'll have 2 or 3, but probably nobody else is going to tell you that. All right, fellas. Appreciate you guys. And back to the show. See you, fellas.
I would be surprised if anybody else told us that, but yeah.
You know, in the olden days, it wasn't podcasting; it was a party line. I don't know if your mom had or your dad had a phone that was before they had dials on the phone. They actually you had to like hit the clicker, and an operator would have to connect you with somebody, and you could actually do a party line where a number of people chatted. And I feel like Strick and I are the leaders of the party line, and no one else can unmute their their headsets. So they're trying desperately to add to the conversation, but they can't. Thank you, Jared. Voicemail number 2.
Okay, voicemail number 3. We have 9 minutes left. Here we go.
Yep.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Strick. Jared here. Voicemail number 3.
Wow. Different time.
Happy 1600th episode.
Is that
Is
today?
that this one?
No, wait a minute.
No, it's next week.
Oh, that's next week,
What
right.
I'm talking about.
It's next week, I think, right?
Well, fellas, it just so happens that if you look at the actual numbering of the episodes, and you probably actually had 1600 weeks ago. But I just happened to, as you were talking about it, looking through the past episodes as you were talking about the 1600th, I'm like, really? Already? It's coming up? And this is the one I'm leaving because of the voicemail was 1596. But if you look back a few episodes, there were a couple that weren't numbered. So 1596 was actually 1598, which means you'll have one Monday and then you'll have one Friday. You might even slip one in there on Wednesday. But either way, I'm telling you, happy 1600. Now, congratulations. And I've been glad to be along for the ride. Keep it up, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I know our team for a while when you would say, hey, put another episode out on Wednesday, you know, because we have too much inventory. Right. They would put it out as a bonus. But I thought like I would go in and just manually correct it and add it as an episode number. And then more recently I said, hey guys, you don't have to post them as bonuses. Just keep adding the numbers up. But I thought I went back and fixed them, but who knows? Maybe I'm missing.
You know what? We make the rules, Strick. We want to say tomorrow when we record or whenever we record again for next week. it's going to be episode 2000. We could just say, we could claim that.
Season 25.
Oh my!
We'll have more seasons than The Simpsons.
So before you get to the final voicemail here, thank you, Jared. He took a completely different tone on that voicemail. He was like he was in a home environment, and maybe he was trying to be a little bit more like mature. I mean, the first two, it was a good attitude. I'm not saying that the third one was a bad attitude. The third one was a little bit more melancholy, if you want to call it that. So we're gonna have to figure out what. Let's play the last voicemail. I'll remember what I'm gonna say.
Okay, because we have 6 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Jared here. Voicemail number 4.
Monopoly.
You guys, I don't know what. I thought there's no way they're going to realize this. My last message about the episode numbering. And sure enough, I leave you a message just over 2 minutes to go. And then right after I leave my message, you start looking at the numbering and being like, oh, sorry for the bonus episodes, throwing things off. See, I tried to get you, but you guys were ahead of me. You actually mentioned it in the episode. Damn it. Why did you have to do that? You messed up my whole last message. What am I going to do now? All right, fellas. Anyways, my happy 1600 still stands. It's just before everybody else. Boom. See you, fellas.
Strickland
he could be right. I'm 100% not even sure that I corrected all of them, so I don't even know.
Strickland is podcast pathic.
Yeah, whatever.
What that means is that he knows what you're going to want to ask questions about. So we go ahead and answer the questions before you even ask them. And when you call in with your voicemail before you listen to the entire episode and you start asking a question, you don't realize that he already knows that you were going to ask your next question. So put that all in the time machine and smoke that, because that's going to be a tough one to figure out.
Well, and you're going to be in Italy. Like, we need to record early next week.
Yeah, because we're going to have to record either Sunday or Monday this week because I have a truck rental I have a Mustang rental on Saturday this week, or a truck rental on Saturday, and then I have a Mustang rental on Tuesday, and I'm leaving on Wednesday.
You are a popular guy.
Well, you call it whatever you like. I have 2 cars that are very popular, and I am the handler for those cars, so I have to ride along. But it's pretty cool because I've been bumping up my price on the car. I'm like, I was spending 3-4 hours at the shoot, and usually 45 minutes to get there. So by the time I'm done, I was spending 5 or 6 hours on transportation and getting there and all of that, and I was only making, after paying the booking agency, I was only making almost $300, which wasn't bad. But I'm like, fuck, that's not enough money to spend a half a day doing. So I just bumped it up to $750. Nice. And ever since I took the DJ Doug theory on this, so ever since I've been charging $750, I've been going out more. So I don't know. I might raise the price to $1,000, and let's see how much more I can get from it.
I love it. Okay, so we got a plan for next week. We should either record Sunday or Monday. That, listeners, you guys don't care about.
We don't have to deal with that. But yes, next week, the following week, so that'll be episode 1600, we think. So that's what we're going to call it, 1600. But then, Strickland, you're going to have 2 weeks, not 1, but 2 weeks of people filling in for me.
God damn, how long are you going?
I'm going from the 12th. Wait a minute, the 9th through the 22nd. Wow. So
we could record on the 23rd. I mean, I don't, or the 24th. That's Wednesday and Thursday. Right?
Okay. All right.
Because we got to hear all about Italy.
Okay. Well, that could work for me. I'm
2
open.
2 weeks in a row, man. You can't.
I'm open to it. So here's your opportunity to put somebody in the guest seat as a co-host. There are a number of people in our community that I don't want to mention here because I know they're all going to jump towards you as soon as I say their name. So I don't want to do that. No pressure on you. You pick who you want to have sit in the guest seat. I'm sure it will be very, very entertaining.
Well, you just had Erica a couple weeks ago. I'm thinking maybe I'll ask Emily, and maybe Sally will join also.
So
me and a couple of ladies.
I was going to have.
I'm sorry. What was that, Sally? Did you hear that? Yeah, that's a hell yeah from the other room.
Was going to have Erica, but remember she was dealing with health issues, so JJ did that. So you might have to have the lady take over.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle all of that. estrogen.
No,
That
I'm saying
might be a little
the ladies
overwhelming.
take over, you step away.
And I step away as well. All right, I'll have to. We'll record next week, and then I got another week to think about it. I'll figure it out.
Let Jared lead the harem, and I'm saying harem in a very non-offensive way. All of the ladies in our community. I'm hoping I did not just offend anybody. I meant that in only the most positive of lights. But Jared, you haven't been a host or a co-host. Has he ever done it?
I'm sure we'll get a voicemail about it because I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
I feel like he has, but I could be
All right,
wrong.
you got 60 seconds to get out of here. I'm going to make sure the link is in monday.com. You will have access to it. Strickland Bonner, enjoy your birthday party. Until next week, Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Thanks for listening. Bartender, Doug here's going to have a Cosmo, and Strickland is going to have a Fireball on the rocks. Not the little glass. Yeah, the big one, the 24-ouncer. Oh, and they'd both like a little umbrella. Just give me the bottle and charge them as much as you can.